you so much for this conversation. Nice to meet you. And talking about the documentary, ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music, I would like to know what drew you to this project and how was the process of bringing all these musical stories to life within the SNL universe?
Uh, I'll try to give you the short answer. So
Okay.
I found out about SNL. I grew up in the Dominican Republic, and I liked the band Nirvana. I heard that Nirvana was going to be on this program called Saturday Night Live that I didn't know. So because of Nirvana, I watched Saturday Night Live, and I loved Nirvana, and I also loved the show, and I became a fan of Saturday Night Live. And then many years later, I went to film school. I am in Los Angeles doing comedy videos, and I got hired to work at Saturday Night Live in season 38, 12 years ago. And my favorite thing about working there was your access to these musicians. So, and access to the archive. So I could go in the archive and just look at Aretha Franklin from many years ago, or a James Brown performance, and you can just go and look at all these amazing musicians. And then also being there, you have access to, you're standing in front of Lady Gaga. She sings into a piano. Like, that's incredible to me. So
Yeah.
it was always very special to have that access to see how important music is to the show. So yeah, I was always, when I worked there, I was always talking about someone should make a documentary about this. And then I got very lucky to be asked by Questlove and NBC to help them work on this project. So it was kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, that's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And with 50 years of history, how challenging was it to select the most iconic musical moments to highlight?
Yeah, it was challenging. It was challenging because it's like you said, it's 50 years and music is so personal, so everybody has their favorite thing. So it was a process in pre-production, we talked for like 4 months or something about the project, about the stories we wanted to tell, about the stories that we felt were important to each other. Like, I had things that I thought were important. Questlove had things that he thought were important. So it was a lot of conversation and a lot of discovery, because we had access to Bad Bunny, but we didn't know we were going to do a big Bad Bunny story. But then we followed him all week, and it was so cool, and we got to see so much. So that became a story in the documentary.
Yeah.
So it was an ongoing process, I think.
Yeah, that's so cool. You talked about Bad Bunny, right? So the SNL has hosted some of the biggest celebrities in the world, like him, of course. And throughout your time working on the show, was there a particular artist or guest that left a lasting impression on you? And any behind the scenes stories that you stood out or something?
Well, it's in the documentary. Every
Okay.
time Kanye West would come, it was so crazy and chaotic. So I really wanted to do something about Kanye West because it was always insane, and the performance was very good. So that was I edited that part because I just felt it was important to like get into that. So yeah, that was someone that the whole week was just so crazy, and his process is so interesting and wild. But I remember the first time I saw Bruno Mars. I was like, "Who's this Bruno Mars guy? I don't know." And then by the end of the week, I was like, "Bruno Mars, I love you." so, um, so yeah, for me, it was cool to like get to know all these bands that I had never seen. But yeah, Kanye was the craziest weeks for sure.
Yeah. And SNL has always been at the intersection of comedy and music, right? And how have these two elements fueled each other over the decades?
Yeah, we get into this a little bit in the documentary. Like, I think because they both are dependent on rhythm so much, and I feel like that's why there's a chemistry between them. And one thing we realized was, when we started the documentary, it was only about the musicians and the songs. But then we realized that the show itself has so much music. There's the SNL band that's playing there the whole show, playing there through commercials. You have the music videos that are comedic music videos, but they're music, and the music has to be good for you to like the comedy. And same with the live sketches. There's so many sketches that have music or a musical or the people singing. So it's a really integral part of the show. And I think because of the rhythm, they just really work with each other well. And the music has to be good for you to laugh at a musical sketch, because if it's not good, then you're gonna pay attention to your phone or click another channel or something. So it was really interesting to see how much music and comedy work there together. And I think it's really all comes down to rhythm.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you've worked for SNL for like 20 years, right? And
Feels like 20 years, but 12.
oh, 12 years, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's
And
okay.
since the 70s, I think the show has seen controversial moments like unexpected performances and even censorship. I know it. And how did those elements shape the documentary's narrative?
Well, we there were stories that we just knew we wanted to touch on the relationship between censorship and the show, because there have been some performances that have been controversial. And the interesting thing was that, everybody thinks that people get banned because you do something controversial, but in the show, Lorne Michaels, the head of SNL, says we don't really ban anyone.
Yeah.
If you're interesting, we'll have you back. So it was really cool to look into a story like Rage Against the Machine or Sinead O'Connor. And it's really about an artist and their message and their integrity sort of coming to clash with entertainment and TV and American TV rules too.
Yeah, it's okay, amazing. And we talked about spoilers a little bit. And
Sure.
the documentary promises to reveal untold histories, right? And can
Yeah.
you do a sneak peek of an interesting or previously unknown moment that audience will discover watching it?
Um, um, well, there were a lot of things that were new to me doing it. I hope they're new to the audience, but for example, the effect that SNL had on Adele was really interesting to look at. It was really there's a performance by a band called Fear, and there are these punks and the mess that they make, and how they took over the show was really cool. And then stories that you do know, like the Ashley Simpson, to be able to get the mic of the director and sort of hear the director freaking out was really interesting to have this new information and have this new footage. And then stuff like the first hip hop performance on national television, that was when we were in prep and investigating, that was really a surprise. And it was really cool to sort of follow that story and get to talk to the first hip hop band that was on national television.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for this interview. I think our time is out. But
Obrigado.
obrigado. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and
You too.
congratulations for the documentary.
Thank you.